Hello, 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 everyone. This is Melody here, and I'm so happy to be here with you, your relationship coaching advice this week. And yeah, just grabbing my notes because I have a lot to tell you. And I hope you are having a good week. And I'm good. I'm actually good. I've made a few decisions about my life lately that are very exciting. Hopefully, you benefit from them too. And so today's topic is what happens when you fight. Recently, I was being interviewed and we talked about fighting a lot. But, I thought we need to talk more about fighting because most of us think when we fight, it's the end of the relationship, or there's something wrong with the relationship, or that the relationship is going to be, uh, it's the wrong person that you are with, or whatever. We all think that. But what if you are totally wrong about that? So, do you hate fighting? Do you happen to hate confrontation? Do you hide it from your friends when you're fighting because you worry they would judge you? A lot of us, yeah, you've heard it, right? I've heard my friends saying, when people come and we're fighting, we pretend as if everything is fine, we're lovey-dovey and all that. Yeah, I don't believe in that premise at all. I believe, well, don't fight in front of people, but you shouldn't pretend you're all happy and jolly when you're not, because that's not being authentic. And I believe in authenticity at all times. But that's just me, each to their own, as they say. Um, Most of us do avoid confrontation to a point. We're always doing what other people want. I've seen it so many times. I've seen it when people are dating and the person is not feeling it. They're not feeling how this person is caring for them, or they're not getting exactly what they want. Instead of just saying, I'm not getting it, I'm not feeling you, I'm not liking what you're giving me, or I feel like it's not enough, like you're not getting there. They just keep quiet and they say, oh yeah, we're all good, we're fine, we're happy, when actually they're not, which is very dangerous for you and very unproductive for you, inauthentic for you, and it will make sure that you don't get what you deserve or what you need from the relationship. And after a while of compromising yourself, you start to be miserable. So I'm always saying, start as you mean to go on. If you want to get love that is embracing, that is fulfilling, that is happy, you need to always be true to you. I'm so glad you can join me. Hi, how are you? I also welcome comments. Please comment, say something, say hi so I can see who you are. And if you are coming here on the replay, also say hello. And if you know someone who is in a relationship and they either avoid fighting, or they think fighting is the end of the world, or they don't know how to fight, because a lot of people don't know how to fight. When I say you don't know how to fight, I'm not meaning you fight. You fight, but you do it so badly that it doesn't give you what you need. That when you apologize, when everything comes down, you still don't get anything out of it. That's not fighting good. When you fight, it should be productive. It should give you something. It should give you at least some of what you need, or all of what you need. And this is why I'm going to be talking about fighting for a little while, because there are many nuances to fighting. Today is what happens. Most of us, when something is is happening in our lives, we discover that we get into fight or flight mode. Most of us, when we know we have to go and confront somebody or say something to someone, first we start saying it in our heads over and over and over. We build ourselves up, we get really defensive, and then we get there and we say it. Or some of us would do it like I used to do. So I wouldn't say to people what was annoying me or what was frustrating me. I would keep it to myself. I struggled a lot with that. And then they would do something else, and it's like they're adding and adding and adding and adding to the point that I just explode one day. And the explosion does not necessarily justify what has happened, because I am coming from 2 years ago and this person would be coming from today. and they'll be thinking like, what's going on? I don't understand. What's wrong with this person? And those things, that way, you also don't get what you want. And we hate fighting because fighting raises fear in us, because it means this person doesn't care about us, doesn't love us. But that's not what it means. It just means that their background, their education, their understanding, everything says they are right. As far as they are concerned, they are right. As far as you're concerned, you're also right. But in a relationship, you are either right or miserable sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So when a person is right and the other person also feels that they are right, how do you even manage that? You have a conversation. You express how you're feeling, where you're coming from, and the other person expresses where they're coming from, and then you build something else from that. Something else that might not be what they want or what you want, but something else that will serve the two of you. And that's how you then benefit from fighting. And the reason why we hate fighting so much or confrontation so much is because of our evolution. Because long ago, when we used to disagree with our tribes or villages, you would be chucked out, and then you'd be miserable, and then you would die. These days, you don't die. You're not even going to be miserable. You're just going to be uncomfortable. And discomfort is good. Discomfort is what stretches us. We all learn from pain most of the time. We haven't, most of us, evolved enough for us to learn from good things. So sometimes we need someone who pushes us. I'll give an example. One day I went with my boyfriend to visit some friends. And when we got there, he forgot to introduce me because we just started talking and stuff like that. And we were talking. And then after a while, people said, who is this? And I was so embarrassed. I felt like he didn't value me enough. And I was very upset and angry. And then afterwards, when we went home, I said to him, why didn't you, when we left the friend's house, I said, so you don't like me anymore? And why didn't you introduce me? And he said, I introduced you. And they said, no, actually you didn't. You just started talking. And he looked back and he said, oh, actually, I forgot. I just thought I had introduced you. It totally slipped my mind. And you were so comfortable talking to them. I thought maybe you had been introduced. And he then apologized. But I had been psyching myself to have the fight of my life. And I was probably going to break up with him because I thought he wasn't seeing me the way I saw him. He didn't love me the way I loved him. And from then on, we got married. But from then on, he always used to make sure that when we met people, he would introduce me. And conflict is an opportunity to create an amazing connection with each other. Did you know that? So, when you look at fighting and you think you're going into combat and it's a duel and there's a winner and a loser, in a relationship, when one of you loses, you both lose. That's just the way it is. If you know someone who is fighting right now, who is going through stuff with their spouse, and they need to hear this, send it to them, share it with them, because it might benefit them. It might help them to come to some point that they needed to get. So there's no relationship that is going to grow without fighting, because again, like I said, it's your background, it's your education, it's what you used to see your parents do, it's so many other things that would be different, because even if you live next door to each other, you're not going to experience the same things. That's just not the way the world works. So those differences would be most of the times the reasons why we fight, because we want other people to see the world the way we see them. And that's a very big myth that doesn't happen. So when you are fighting, when it comes that, okay, you are going to fight, there's nothing you can do about it. Learn to count to 10 before you say something. When something happens and it upsets you, count to 10. Take deep breaths. Relax. Don't ever speak when you're angry. Ever. With anybody. Not your children, not your boyfriend, not your husband, not your partner in any way. Don't speak when you're angry. because what's going to come out of your mouth is anger words, and anger words don't build, they destroy. So we always fight because we have a deep need to be understood and to be accepted. So when a person disagrees, we think they are rejecting us. Think about the next time you fight. Think about that. Think about when you are fighting with your spouse and they are getting upset, that all they want is to be accepted and to be loved and to feel that you love them. What if you deconstruct that and say, where in this space, in my words, do you feel unloved or unaccepted? Where in my words do you feel like I am not respecting you right now? Or my actions? And see what that does for you. Because the most important thing is to ensure that you catch the fight before, or the conflict before it develops into a huge fight. It is also important to learn how to go through a fight with minimum harm, damage, or blame, and to go as quickly back to your relationship, to your happy relationship, as fast as possible. So you have to accept that fighting is going to happen. You have to accept there's a benefits to fighting. You have to accept that everybody feels that they are right. And the most important thing, that everybody wants to be loved and accepted. So when a person, your spouse, is upset, it just means they feel your words or your actions, if they have perceived your words and your actions as unloving towards them. And if you can untangle that, you get back to lovey-dovey in a very short space of time. And if you insist on being right, you will be miserable. That's what I have for you today. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, send them over to me. And also, if you feel like you need to work through this and you need to, learn how to fight in a way that gives you what you need or what you want, then book a love breakthrough session and work through it together. It's for free, and then you can start having the relationships that are fulfilling and fun as we grow in this art of loving that we are on a journey on. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening and for sharing. I will see you again same time next week on this channel. Bye for now. Mwah.